I found myself single and looking for someone that sort of understood my lifestyle, and like I'm really passionate about agriculture. And
Yeah, an app like yours would definitely bring those people together, I guess, from different corners of Australia, really.
because I'm more regional than rural, I found that there was plenty of people for me, but
Mm.
they were all more so like from like inner city,
Mm.
because the whole idea behind the app, like the stats on people's mental health in rural and regional areas is really, really scary. Tell people that you're on a dating app. Like, it doesn't need to be this, I don't know, taboo subject that.
Yeah.
So that's how everyone's meeting each other now. Like, it's just the sign of the times.
So, welcome everyone back to the pod. Today, I've got an interesting guest that has come across my radar from field days and has quite a big, following on Instagram in particular. So, I'd like to introduce me, Ryan, to the podcast from the Howdy app. So, how we going?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good. So, Mia, I guess if people don't already know you or have seen you on socials with, your app, um, I guess if you wanted to give people a bit of a background on your story before even the app came about, because I see that you're an avid horse trainer and, obviously growing up on the family farm. So, if you wanted to, touch on that, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, so pre-Howdy, I guess.
Yep.
Full-time at uni, doing ag and international business. And yeah, full-time on the family farm. So I guess that's where it all sort of came about, because I just found myself spending a lot of time on my own or with animals more than people.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not the type of person to sort of go to the pub on a Friday night. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I found myself single and looking for someone that sort of understood my lifestyle, and like I'm really passionate about agriculture and really keen to, upscale our production and things like that. And I was just finding that it was really hard to meet people that understood that. It didn't even need to be romantic, like even just having friends that were into that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely finding that connection. And I think if, like, I don't know how far sort of from the nearest town you were, but, some people are, 300 kilometers away from the nearest township. And even if, they are near it, there might only be a handful of people. So I guess the pool of people is, quite narrow. So I guess, yeah, an app like yours would definitely bring those people together, I guess, from, different corners of Australia, really.
Yeah, and I found, because I'm more regional than rural, I found that there was plenty of people for me, but
Mhm.
they were all more so like from like inner city. So there was technically people that I could connect with and get that sort of human interaction, but just that like-mindedness was really missing. So I think there's a lot of people faced with those sort of two dilemmas. As you said, they might be, hundreds of kilometers away from someone, or
Mm.
they might have people, but people that just don't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's tricky. It's really, really tricky.
Yeah, and I guess you'd be pretty busy training horses. So I guess with the horses, is that for equestrian riding, or like I guess give us a bit of a background on that, because I find that quite fascinating, especially when you watch the Olympics and you see all the dressage performances and things like that. It's just the technique and the being in sync with the horse and the rider, and then the music. I just find that to be one of the most technical and interesting events in the Olympics. But yeah, do you deal with many sort of Olympic riders or people in that realm, I guess, or?
Yeah, so my sport is dressage, and
Okay.
I breed warm bloods for that. Um, but I found myself doing a lot of breaking in and things like that, because I really enjoy working with young horses. Um, I've scaled it right back now just to have my own horses at home, because I
Right.
had sort of 9 or 10 in work at a time,
Yeah.
and it was just so full on. Like it takes probably an hour, hour and a half each horse if you do it quickly. So it was taking up my whole day, and I was finding that I was just riding all these different horses, and it was
Yeah.
getting a bit wild. Like I started just taking on horses that I probably shouldn't have. Because I quite enjoy the ones that are a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I've got a lot of good friends that have a lot to do with sort of the Olympics and
Yeah.
those sorts of things. It's definitely a place to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I would think it would take up a lot of your time because you'd want to, give the most time to those horses that, are trying to compete and do all of that. So that's why I ask that because I think, to try run a dating app like this and try get it off the ground, yeah, it's a bit of a juggling act. So are you still doing a bit of that, or are you full on into the app now?
Yeah, I about this time last year, it was just after the app launched, and I found myself I'd taken on too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have any outside horses now. I've just scaled it back. I've got six of my own.
Okay.
So just a couple in work, and it's actually really enjoyable because I can just sort of take my time a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Because when I had so many, I had to have a groom that would come and help me, and yeah, it just turned into like more of a business. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now you can, yeah, just enjoy the passion of training and looking after the horses. So that's really good. But yeah, right. So I guess the app comes about, because of the lack of people within the area and sort of narrowing it down to people that are sort of like-minded or, can understand sort of your upbringing and, working on the farm and all of that sort of thing. So um, you get that off the ground. How long have you had the app running for now?
We launched on the 1st of March last year, so it's definitely still super, super fresh. It's taken a lot to get to this point. Like, I don't know, I don't know that many people understand what goes into creating an app. Like,
Mm,
yeah, it's a lot. It's pretty full on, and it's something that I've not I've not come from a tech background by any
yeah.
stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, it's been interesting.
'Cause you hear people, oh, I've started this new app and and that sort of thing, and people make it seem like it's just like anything. And I would assume there'd be a lot of work in the background and getting the right people around you to make it happen. So I guess when you get that started, is it a lot of testing even from yourself, or do you have a pool of people that test the app? But I'm interested to hear how that all sort of work to get it to the point where it is now.
Yeah, so we do a lot of testing behind the scenes. There's a product called Test Flight, which is, I guess, the background of how you go about testing it. So you get to sort of, it feels like you're downloading the app and you get to go through all the motions of being able to use it, which is a bit of a tricky process. So only myself and my developers can do that, which made it really difficult when we launched because the app was really, really untested. Like we did
Mhm.
our best, but we probably launched it a little bit too soon. Like in hindsight, it would have been great to try and get a pool of people to test it. Um, but ultimately, the last 12 months have been people being our guinea pigs, and
Yeah.
the people that have been willing to jump on there and give something new a try. And the majority of people have been really open about that, and reaching out. And if something's technically not going quite right, just reaching out and saying, hey, did you know this is happening or whatever? And all of those things really help.
Yeah, right. Okay. And because I did see something on Landline, I think you may have used the app yourself and found someone on there. So that obviously shows that the app works and it gets out to the people that you're best matched with. So that's really great. So I guess what sets it apart from all the other dating apps? Like I'm a married man now, but back in my single days, when I was living in Sydney. I think it was just the start of when Tinder and all of those apps started to come about. So obviously you try those apps, but half the time people are fake or, they're not really there for the right reasons. So I guess, yeah, what sets you apart from the other apps?
Well, it's actually good that you've used Tinder so you can sort of understand like the mindset behind it. But as you know, it's quite quick. Like you go on there and you're presented with someone like a person, and to see the next person, you have to say yes or no.
Hmm.
So they've sort of what they've done is based the psychology around it, very similar to what gambling is. So
Right.
it's all about giving you like this real high, and then so you stay on there, keep using it, whatever, but then they don't really take into account the lows you get because it's not
Hmm.
working.
Yeah.
But it's basically you're making this quick decision based off a profile picture and a job description.
Yeah.
And it's so superficial and it only works for, you know, the top percentage of most attractive people out there, and the people
Yeah.
that aren't, it really doesn't work. And that's such a shame. Like
Mm.
that does some really terrible things for a lot of people's mental health. And
Yeah.
so I really wanted to change that and change the mindset around it all. So the way our algorithm works is that you won't see every single person that's on the app either.
Okay.
We're not going to just like flood you with just sheer quantity, because I get that a lot. People are like, oh, there's not enough people on there, and then I can look at the data and I can see that you've said no to 150 people, and I'm like, oh
And not
my
actually giving
goodness.
it a go, you know.
And you've felt the need to go on there and say yes or no straight away to these people. Um, but they're real people, you know, like
Yep.
they're putting their heart on their sleeve. So I've created it so it looks a little bit more like a social media feed. So rather than
Okay.
like swiping left or right, you can scroll through the different profiles.
Hmm.
And it just sort of encourages you to slow down a little bit, and you don't feel the need to have to say yes or no right then and there. Like, by all means, jump in there and say yes to, you know, whoever you like, whatever. But yeah, just trying to take a bit more of a chance and like read about the person,
Yeah.
rather than just, yeah, make that really quick decision on their looks, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it gives people a bit more context behind sort of who they're, looking at. And yeah, I think that's probably the better way of doing it than just, swipe left, right, just based on a photo. There's a bit more to it than just, what you see visually. So that's really good. So how does what's the process when someone's setting up an app? I guess because you look at farmers, they're pretty time sensitive, and or they may not be really good with technology because they're an older fella that's hasn't really used much of it before or understands sort of how these dating apps work. But I guess yeah, like is there a service that you guys sort of help out these farmers as well, or is it just quite easy for them to set it up themselves?
Yeah, like definitely that's a bit of a new thing that we've got running at the moment. We've just sort of launched it, and it's like a custom built profile. So
Okay.
yeah, you can go onto the website and there's like a booking engine where you make an appointment with me, and I personally basically hold your hand and walk you through the whole process, because it can be really daunting putting yourself out there. So yeah, I've been helping a lot of, especially older farmers as well. I've been helping them choose their photos, write their bio, and then once you get on the app, we do some more meetings, or even shoot me a text message or anything,
Yeah.
about, you know, how to send the first message, or just how the actual app runs, because it can really help just to make it all make sense and just make you feel more confident in doing that. And
Yeah.
um, but I've set the app up in a way that I've made it really nice and simple and easy to use as well. But certainly sometimes you just need a bit of a friend to bounce
Or
ideas
someone
off.
to bounce ideas off. Yeah, it's not necessarily that they can't do it. It's more just yeah, having that voice of reason, I guess, and they can voice those ideas if it's going to work or if that will help their profile, I guess. So
Totally. Yeah. And it just makes you feel like you can do it, yeah, with confidence. And I always say, like, tell people that you're on a dating app. Like, it doesn't need to be this, I don't know, taboo subject that,
yeah.
so that's how everyone's meeting each other now. Like, it's just the sign of the times, and we all have this romanticized idea that you'll just bump into the love of your life one day, and but it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way now, and for a lot of the time. And so put yourself out there, and if you're going to get a haircut, mention to your barber or your hairdresser or whatever,
Yeah.
that you're getting your haircut because you're about to go on a date, or you're getting ready to take a photo for your profile picture, and you'll be so surprised at how much support you actually get from people, and how everyone will have a story to back you up and help you. And yeah, I think we all need to just be a bit more of a community about it. It doesn't need to be so personal.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely a little bit of a stigma around that, but yeah, I think dating apps like yours though are definitely linking like-minded people together, and the people that go on there are going on there for the right reasons. So I think that's you team those two things together, and you do hear those sort of success stories where people have sort of come together from the app. So no, you're doing some really good stuff with the way it's designed and all of that. But I guess as well, I think with most apps, you're probably limited, I guess, with the reach and all of that sort of thing. And obviously with farmers, you may only have 100 people in your town that you already know that you're related to and friends with and all the rest of it. But there may be someone on the other side of the country that is like-minded and you get on with, and I guess the app it does reach pretty much everywhere across Australia. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So I've got an Australia-wide function, which just means that you can definitely set your radius as close to home as you feel comfortable, but if you are open to it, you can choose to meet anyone anywhere in Australia. And we do have people from every state of
Yeah.
Australia using the app. And I found that it's probably more than three-quarters of our success stories are long distance relationships. So as a farmer, it can seem difficult, like maybe you can't leave the farm, like maybe that's not an option for you to move. But the amount of people that are willing to move is pretty incredible. So you can, like, there is potential that it can happen and it can work. Like, you've just got to try. So, clicking that Australia wide, it feels like a bit of a gamble, but so worth it. Like, it's actually shocked me that how many people are so open to the long distance thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think especially if it's both farmers, they may have different or be in different areas within farming, whether it is horses or it could be, cropping, that sort of thing. You can really marry up the jobs as well as the relationship, and it can work out that way too. So I feel like if it is, and look, you can't say that someone from the city won't be able to meet someone from the country. I think that's still a possibility, but it's definitely a lot easier to have those conversations about who's moving where, and how will it all work really. So I think, yeah, with the app that definitely allows people to explore that at least. So no, that's really good to see. And I guess with your partner as well from that landline when I was watching it, so that's literally the other side of the country, so that's quite a
4,000
big
kilometers.
yeah, which is insane, and that's just a testament to the app that you can reach those people and make it happen. So no, that's really great. So I think there's been a new add-on from what I've seen anyway, bringing not just farmers into the app. And I think it's quite important because you look at a lot of, doctors, nurses, accountants, people that move from the city and go to the country. Obviously, don't probably know many people, and they're obviously, if they are single and looking for love, I guess that's a difficult thing in a small community sometimes. And I think opening it up to those different professions that want to live and be in the country gives the opportunity to open up the pool of people that you can search for and link up with, I guess. So
Yeah.
so that's fairly new, isn't it? That
Yeah, that's only just started in February. And because I was just looking at it, and those those people are isolated as well.
yeah,
Like, just because you're a farmer doesn't mean you're the only one that's experiencing, what what it means to live in rural Australia. So, as you said, these people might have moved from the city. That might make them even more isolated because they're also moving from somewhere that they're, you know, they're moving to somewhere that they're not comfortable with. And it's, I just, I just don't understand why we can't just help as many people as possible,
Mm,
because the whole idea behind the app, like the stats on people's mental health in rural and regional areas is really, really scary.
mm,
I think it's something like one farmer takes his own life every 10 days in Australia. So that to me is just it's horrific. It's awful.
yeah,
And it's so, so prevalent everywhere in the world, everywhere in Australia, but
yeah.
especially in rural areas. So I just think if we can just bring a little bit of joy to those sorts of people, how amazing.
And that's right. And it may not even be to have a sort of relationship with someone that's a long life partner. It may even just be a friend or someone to talk to that doesn't have access to people in their community. So it's yeah, it opens it up to that, and yeah, definitely makes and I think what the way I look at it is, it's a struggle to get people to the country to work in general. And I feel like if there's an app like this that people can connect on there, that may keep people in the regional towns, and you can get those professions in, and you're bolstering, the hospitals and professionals, helping with your accounts and that sort of thing. So it has a bigger, I guess, yeah, it definitely helps the community in a sense. And if it's bringing people in and keeping people here, then employers and people like that, can keep these businesses running and these towns thriving at the end of the day. So I think it's yeah, definitely factoring in to a lot of that too. So yeah, I really look forward to seeing it definitely grow from there. I also wanted to ask, with the app, I know with some of the apps like your Tinders, for example, you'll come across like bots or those types of profiles that are fake and whatnot. So how do you deal with that sort of catfishing and privacy and all of that sort of stuff? Because that's a pretty big or contentious point in this day and age.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely really tricky. It's something that we've really had to take into consideration.
Yeah,
So as for like privacy and data and those sorts of things, all of that's third party. So I use Amazon for everything. So if you can hack into Amazon, then like
yeah,
that's a bigger problem.
yeah,
So that sort of privacy side of things is really, really secure. Um, and then for bots and fake accounts, usually those are on there because the actual platform has implemented those. So it's
uh,
not necessarily hackers, it's that Tinder or Bumble or whatever have, yeah, they've created bots. So you just feel like you have more matches or more people to go through.
yeah,
So we don't have that. I just don't see any point. So everyone you see on there are just real people. We just, yeah. And the way it works with our subscription base, it because we don't have a free version, it
right,
really it reduces down those sorts of people that are on there for the wrong reason and the people that are on there just to, you know, see what happens, or those sort of more casual
yeah,
interactions as well. That's
yeah,
all really, it's pretty much all gone because you've made a sort of, I guess, commitment. It only works out to be $4.60 a week. It's not
mhm,
anything astronomical, but the whole reason behind wanting to have that subscription was so um, you feel like you've got to make that commitment, which means you're making a commitment to meet someone. And yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah, and that tailored experience definitely weeds out anyone that's trying to create an account just to mess around, that sort of thing. It's yeah, and I think the way you've structured it definitely yeah, weeds out a lot of those people or those potential bots and that sort of thing. So I'd know, or I would think behind the scenes, you've got a team that are definitely checking on those things, and that's why I guess this app's probably pulled you away from doing a lot of that horse training, because it's quite an intensive sort of thing. But that's because you want to bring the best experience to your users at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I've got a team of about 10 people, and they're full time on working on the app 5 days a
Yeah.
week. They're based in Nepal. I'm having meetings with them every day. We're chatting. Um, Everything has gone into this app. Like anyone that is thinking I've just sat back and enjoying the rich and famous lifestyle from it, I think last year I made a profit of $40.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
everything that we're making, I'm putting straight back into the app because all I want from this is just to make it the best possible experience and to make it so the most people can, find it. It's not even about finding love. The most
yeah,
people can just be a little bit happier because of it.
yeah,
You might be just in the tractor, it's a long day, and you just get a text message from someone or a howdy notification.
yeah.
And, you know, you can't help but smile. Like sometimes that's the difference between a good day and a bad day.
Yeah, even just
So,
making someone's day, it goes a long way
yeah.
in those sort of remote areas, especially. So, no, that's really great. And I guess obviously you've had your own sort of success story on there, but have you had any other success stories, whether it's two farmers or it's, a farmer and, a doctor or a nurse, that sort of thing? Like, is there some of those success stories that have come out of the app as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually 2 days ago, I got a video from a random account on Instagram, and it was a guy giving me a walkthrough tour of this Land Cruiser, and it was packed to the
Right.
brim, like you couldn't even barely get in the driver's seat. And he was like,
Yeah.
"This is the result of Howdy." So him and his now girlfriend
Yeah.
have just moved in together, and she made the 14-hour drive from
Oh, wow.
Mosong
Yeah.
in Western New South Wales to South
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
both from farming backgrounds, but
Mhm.
yeah, they've just moved in. Um, I've got two lawyers in Sydney that they've met farmers, one in Victoria, one in WA. So
Yeah.
there's so many stories. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, that's really good to hear, and yeah, I look forward to seeing sort of where it all goes. And I guess for yourself, do you have sort of anything coming up in the future, or obviously you want to grow and you're reinvesting back into the app, but are there any sort of new features or things that you want to include, or where do you see the app going in the next sort of sort of 5 or so years?
Yeah, well, even what date are we at now? I think in the
Yeah.
next 2 or 3 weeks, we've got a really big update coming out, which I'm pretty
Hmm.
excited about, which I've tried to, I guess, replicate a little bit more what it would be like meeting in person, if that's even possible on an app. But
Right. Okay.
um, it's like an active page, so you can go on there and just see the people that are also on there right now, sort of thing. And if you sort of like them on that page, they get a notification. So it's more interactive, I guess, and you just get the opportunity to go back to people that maybe you said no to before. So
Hmm.
on that active page, there's everyone. There's the people you
Right.
said yes to and they haven't said yes back yet. There's the people that you've said no to, the people you've not seen yet.
Yeah.
So it just reintroduces you to those people again, and it
Yeah.
might just change your mind because you're like, I said no to him, but actually, you know what? He's active right now, and
Yeah.
it's like the equivalent of, all right, we're at the pub and he's maybe not my traditional type, but he's come up to me and we're having a really great chat. So I'm actually going to
Yeah.
give it a go. So it's that sort of mindset.
That almost yeah mimics maybe someone messaging or inboxing and there's no response and then they bump into each other in town and it's like, oh, you're actually a really good person, blah blah blah, and then it turns into a relationship like that. So I
Yeah.
guess yeah, that'd be an interesting feature that I think a lot of people will utilize a fair bit. So no,
Yeah.
that's really good. Well, yeah, no, I look forward to seeing sort of where it goes, and I guess everyone that's listening, if you're sort of on the scene and looking for a relationship, whether that's a friend or someone, a long life partner, really, definitely go check out the app, definitely download it, and check out these new developments in the next couple of weeks because I'm sure it's definitely revolutionizing the dating scene in these communities. So really appreciate your time, Mia. And yeah, if there's any sort of links or things that you wanted to mention so people can sort of get there and download and do all the rest of it.
Yeah, I've kept it pretty simple. All our social media is just howdy.global. Our website, Howdy Global. Yeah, and just have a look. Download the app. It's on the App Store and the Play Store as well.
That's it. Give it a go, people. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.